Johnny Cash's real name was just J.R., 2 letters. Here's the story. His parents couldn't agree on their 4th child's name. His mother insisted on Rivers, his father on Ray, and to end the argument, they decided to use the abbreviation J.R. He lived with this name for years, but the interesting part started in 1950 when he joined the Air Force. Military regulations required a full name. They wouldn't let you register with just initials. He didn't know what to do at that moment. Finally, he chose the name John R. Cash, and that's how the world began to know him as Johnny. But if he hadn't joined the military, perhaps he'd still be known just as J.R. When Sam Phillips first saw him, he thought Cash had made up his last name. It should be a stage name like Johnny Dollar or Johnny Guitar. In fact, the Cash surname was a 1,000-year-old family name dating back to Scotland, to the ancient kingdom of Fife. The strange part was the family's naming method that no one could agree on.
That terrible day that changed 12-year-old Johnny's life. On May 12, 1944, young Johnny had planned to go fishing, but his brother Jack had to cut oak trees into fence posts at the high school agriculture workshop. Johnny begged him, "Leave that job, come fishing with me," he said. But Jack had to go because the family needed money. He would only get $3. That morning, their mother had said to Jack, "Jack, you look like you don't want to go." Jack's only response was, "No, I have to go. We need the money." Johnny went fishing, but Jack fell into the saw machine. Their father picked up Johnny in the preacher's car and took him to the smokehouse, showing him Jack's bloody clothes. In the hospital, Jack seemed like he would recover, even reading letters and laughing. But on Friday, he got worse, and his last words to his family were, "They're so beautiful, so wonderful, and what a beautiful place I'm going to." Johnny felt guilty about this incident throughout his life. "Not even 2 months go by without seeing him in my dreams," he would say. This trauma lies at the root of his dark songs and mournful voice.
Johnny Cash grew up in poverty. In 1935, the New Deal administration encouraged marginal farmers from mountainous regions to settle in the more fertile lands of northeastern Arkansas. The Cash family accepted this offer and moved. Together, they cleared 20 acres of land and grew cotton. Little Johnny worked side by side with his parents. From the age of 5, he sang while working alongside his family in the cotton fields. They lived in a 4-room house with his parents and 6 siblings. Every day they woke up at dawn and toiled in the fields until sunset. In the evenings, when they were exhausted, they would gather on the front porch. His mother, Carrie, would play guitar, and the whole family would sing hymns and traditional songs. That's where Johnny's legendary deep voice and love of music were born, there in the cotton fields among the workers' songs. These hardships strengthened him, but they also developed a deep empathy for the oppressed and the poor. Later, he would tell of these days with songs like "Pickin' Time" and "5 Feet High and Rising."
Johnny, who started writing songs at age 12, had such a unique voice that he received the most important lesson of his life. His mother, Carrie, recognizing his talent, saved money so her son could take singing lessons. Johnny excitedly went to his first lesson, but after only 3 lessons, something happened. His teacher was so impressed by Johnny's natural voice being so unique that he advised him to stop the lessons and never change this style. Imagine a singing teacher telling his student, "You're perfect, I have nothing to teach you." This was that deep, husky bass baritone voice, the voice that shook the whole world. If that teacher had tried to change Johnny with traditional opera or singing techniques, there might never have been such a thing as the Johnny Cash voice. That voice came from the cotton fields, from train whistles, from hymns. It was raw, honest, and authentic,
And a teacher understood this and gave him the greatest gift: be yourself. 1967 could have been the year of death for Johnny Cash. Drug and alcohol addiction had finished him. He was taking amphetamines and barbiturates several times a day, by the handful. In his autobiography, he wrote, "I was canceling shows and recording dates, and when I did show up, I couldn't sing because my throat was so dry from the pills. I was in and out of jails, hospitals, car wrecks. I was a walking vision of death, and that's exactly how I felt." He was isolated from his family, friends, colleagues, everyone. In early October 1967, he decided to end his life. "I didn't want to see one more dawn," he said later. "I had wasted my life." He went to Nickajack Cave on the Tennessee River. He took his flashlight and walked into the darkness. He crawled forward for hours until his flashlight went out. There, in the darkness, he waited to die. But suddenly, something changed. In the cave, a very clear, simple idea came to his consciousness. He wasn't responsible for his own fate. He would die in God's time, not his own. At that moment, he felt hope. But how would he get out? He was in darkness. He moved by instinct, following a slight breeze. And miracle, when he came out of the cave, June Carter and her mother were waiting for him. They told him they felt something was wrong and came to find him. On the way back, Cash told them, "God kept me from killing myself." And from that day on, his life changed.
Johnny Cash's marriage proposal to June Carter is a legendary moment. On February 22, 1968, Johnny and June were performing in front of a 7,000-person audience in London, Ontario, Canada. They finished singing the song Jackson. Everyone was applauding, but Johnny didn't stop. He stopped the show. They were on stage, the Statler brothers, June's mother and sisters, everyone was there. Johnny proposed to June in front of 7,000 people. June had rejected proposals before. Johnny had asked many times, but June had said she wouldn't say yes until he quit drugs. But that night, in front of those 7,000 people, June finally said yes. June later told the story. "The Statler brothers were on stage, my mother and sisters were on stage, and he asked me in front of all these people. I couldn't say no." Less than 2 weeks later, on March 1, 1968, they were married. They stayed together for 35 years and loved each other madly. In a letter Johnny wrote for June's 65th birthday in 1994, he said, "You still fascinate me and inspire me. You influence me for the better. You're the object of my desire, the #1 reason for my earthly existence. This is country music's greatest love story."
January 13, 1968, Johnny Cash made history. The legendary country singer Johnny Cash, experiencing a decline in his career and serious depression, came to perform for inmates at Folsom Prison in California. His career was on the verge of collapse. The 1968 concert at California's Folsom Prison was special. It came at a point when his career was waning, his fame was diminishing, and his health was threatened due to drug and alcohol use. But Cash had a special connection with inmates. In 1955, he had written the song Folsom Prison Blues, and since then, inmates had been writing him letters asking him to play at their prisons. That day, he did 2 shows. One of the songs Cash focused on learning was Greystone Chapel, written by inmate Glenn Shirley. Shirley had sent the recording of the song to a priest through the prison's recreation director. Cash received this song the night before the concert and learned it. This was the ultimate sign of respect and attention. During the concert, despite armed guards on the overhead walkways and the warden's prohibition on standing up during the show, Cash's audience was wild. This recording saved his career. It was the most popular album of his career up to that point, rose to the top of the charts, and catapulted Cash to international stardom. It sold more than 3 million copies.
This is the most painful ending of a love story. They stayed together for more than 35 years and remained together until the end of their lives, dying only 4 months apart. Carter in May 2003, Cash in September of that year. On May 15, 2003, June Carter Cash died at age 73 from complications following heart surgery. Johnny was by her side, holding her hand. Johnny's world collapsed. June was everything to him: his lover, musical partner, the person who saved him from drugs, his wife of 35 years. At his last concert in 2003, Johnny read a statement he wrote about June. "The spirit of June Carter overshadows me tonight with the love she had for me and I had for her. We connect somewhere between here and heaven." He lived for 4 months, but he wasn't really living. He was gone. He wasn't suffering, he just didn't want to live because he was without his June. On September 12, 2003, at age 71, he died of respiratory failure after a long battle with diabetes. But everyone knew the real reason: broken heart. When June died, a part of Johnny went with her, and 4 months later, they were reunited.
Johnny Cash's life was eventful. Drugs, accidents, prisons, but the strangest incident: an ostrich attack. In 1981, Johnny Cash was raising ostriches on his property and sometimes controlled their behavior with a stick. Yes, you heard that right. Johnny Cash was hitting ostriches with a stick. As is known, ostriches are the velociraptors of modern times, and one of the ostriches responded to the stick by kicking Cash with its giant clawed foot. This opened Cash's stomach and nearly killed him. Cash had to run to the hospital holding his intestines. Imagine old Johnny Cash holding his intestines in one hand, getting in the car and going to the hospital. This man sang in prisons, overcame drugs, survived a bunch of accidents, and an ostrich almost killed him. The doctors must have been astonished. "Mr. Cash, what happened to you?" "Well, my ostrich kicked me." Johnny survived, but this story is a perfect example of how crazy his life was. It could only happen to Johnny Cash.
In the mid-1980s, Johnny Cash was having problems with his record company, Columbia Records. Allegedly, Cash chose to deliberately record a bad song to protest Columbia's treatment of him. But the truth is stranger. Columbia presented the song to Cash, and Cash, who had previously achieved major chart success with comedic material like A Boy Named Sue and One Piece at a Time, enthusiastically accepted it, performed the song live, and shot a funny music video in which he wore a superhero-like bank robber costume. He even recorded a music video for it, in which he wore a dusty blue cape and yellow coveralls. The song was about a singer's brain being placed into a chicken. Why not? But Waylon Jennings watched the video and told Cash, "You look like a clown." Johnny was embarrassed and asked Columbia to pull the video from broadcast and recall the single from stores. This was a complete fiasco, but it worked. Cash finally got out of his contract. Sometimes the only way to save your career is to dress yourself up like a chicken.